What's going on, Sagittarius? And welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and I hope you're having a phenomenal month so far. So, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support is really just leaves me speechless, Sag. And it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We are in for an amazing journey. And guess why, Sag? Because it is Celestial News Monthly. If you can't tell, I'm pumped. That's my favorite time of the month, Sag. But when the sun moves into a new sign, we're going to talk about where the planets are at and then how we can work with the energies. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me, and never force a reading on a situation, okay? So with all that being said, oh, come on, mouse. Let's jump into it. Your space has been cleansed. Gems, feeling lovely. Just great energy all around here, Sag. So I'm gonna, if you can see here, I have Zodiac oracle cards with where each of the planets are at, and I'm gonna pull an oracle card from this deck for each of them, and then we'll get some details with the tarot. But before we jump into this thing, these readings that I do, they're not gender-specific readings, so apply these energies to people as they make sense for your situations, okay? Thank you. And in case if you are curious, the decks that I'm working with, I've included links for them down in the description box below, so definitely check that out if you're interested. But also, I've included some links for some other readers that I like watching as well there, Sag. So definitely check them out, show them some love. I mean, intuition is hot. So get on that, Sagittarius. But let's talk about the big old party. Well, it's not a really big party, but let's talk about the exciting party that Cancer is throwing. My sun signs in Cancer, so if you thought I was bringing big energy before, it's about to be lit this season. But the sun is going to be in Cancer, and then Mercury will be entering Cancer about 5 days afterwards. But the sun's going to enter Cancer on the 21st of June and at about 9:58 in the morning, and that'll be Central Time. And then we'll be there through the 22nd of July. And with this energy, Sag, this begins the summer solstice. So depending on where you're at, you're either getting a whole bunch of sunlight here, or we may not be. But where I'm at, we're getting all the sun. And that's kind of nice, I feel like, with this energy, Sag, because Cancer is a very emotional sign. And so the sun is shining a lot of energies on our emotions. You know, they're really taking the spotlight. So this is a great way for you to really develop that emotional wisdom. I mean, yours is such a wise sign already, and it's just like, what better way to expand on that than to really tune into one, the relationship with yourself, you know, paying attention to how you're, just over this season, you know, how the emotions may come up. Maybe there's some that are a little hotter than others, you know, maybe that might need a little more attention. But this is also great for focusing on your close relationships with others as well, you know, and seeing maybe you want to have those maybe have more heart-to-heart conversations, or maybe there's some boundaries that might need to be drawn up, or anything along those lines, you know. And this could be even like our relationship, maybe even with our jobs, you know, just it could be anything that has to do with any sort of emotional ties or anything like that, Sagittarius. So, and this is also great energy because, you know, Cancers are known as, we're the mothers of the zodiac. So very nurturing energy, very healing. So this is a great time too to really practice some, get into some health or some self-care routines, and really, you know, really treat yourself and nurture yourself. Take a bubble bath, you know, maybe go buy some water, you know, do some meditation, all that lovely stuff, Sag. And then you couple that with Mercury that's going to be entering on the 26th of June, and we'll be there through the 10th of July. And this is great for, again, another energy for strengthening that bond between yourself and with others. But this also is a great energy because Mercury rules over the mind and how we think, and then you can add in the heart that Cancer throws in. You know, it's almost like very King of Cups energy, you know, whereas that head and heart connection are growing a lot closer. And because it's always interesting when Mercury's in a water sign, you know, just really tuning into there and thinking about the different ways that intuition is translated, you know, with water sign representing that. But this is also this ability, or this this placement also allows you to think about things on a deeper level and really have a greater ability to like process and express your feelings. So, use that to your advantage, Sagittarius. It's a very wonderful energy here. But let's see what oracle card we got here. Oh, I love it! Look at you. You got I see we are talking about love here, Sag, because you got the second card of Pisces, which is the Flamingos card. And with this card, this is a card of soulmates, lovers, union, courtship, dating, attraction, seduce, long-term potential, displays of affection, charm, it factor, two of a kind, alluring, and je ne sais quoi. Look at you. I'm getting excited for you there, Sagittarius. And this is really lovely energy. If you've been wanting to get back out in the dating scene, I feel like what greater energy than to go out there, maybe go for I don't know, maybe there's like a little like bird sanctuary we can go to, maybe check up I don't know if there'd be flamingos around. Maybe where I'm at now there might be some flamingos, but this could be something where just like having where we can really enjoy our time. If you're in like an early relationship right now, maybe we're thinking about putting ourselves out there. I feel like really enjoy that, be very present with each other, and just like get to really the energy I'm feeling here is just like really, like utilizing this energy to your advantage and really form some really tight unions. And I feel like this doesn't even just have to be in love. This could be maybe even forming like some good close friendships or something along those lines. Something about getting yourself out there, Sagittarius. But there could be, and I feel like for those of you, if you're in an existing relationship, whether this be love or maybe we're thinking about with like existing friends and things, to just like to do something like if it's with love, do something a little romantic, a little thoughtful, something like that would really kind of surprise your other person and just like be like remind them like, ooh, there's that it factor that I fell in love with. They're so thoughtful, and you really are a generous sign, Sagittarius. And I feel like anyone would really appreciate that, the fun that you bring, that optimism that you have, the joy that just lights up a room. And I feel like too, there's something here like just like if maybe for some others, I feel like if love's not necessarily on the table, maybe we're kind of more focused on ourselves. That's dope too. Focus on that inner love, because I feel that that would be really great, I feel like, for this season as well, because it's just like when you're able to form that unconditional love with yourself, really love every aspect of you, the light and the darkness, and really you really learn to integrate those two things as one and love that whole of you unconditionally. Because Pisces energy has just endless compassion for the soul tribe, and I feel like when you can learn that energy here and like really learn to like love every aspect of yourself, that helps when it comes to bonding with others. You can really kind of really learn them on a deep level and really kind of can appreciate the work that they've put in or the growing that they're going through right now and things along those lines. But very deep here, Sagittarius. I'm with it. Let's get some tarot on this. Interesting, Sagittarius. Okay, hold up. So, let's see what we have here. Oh, interesting. Okay, hold on. This is a different kind of story here. So you have the Eight of Cups and the Two of Cups in reverse here, and then we have the and the Eight of Wands, and we have the Five of Cups, the Star, and the Nine of Swords upright. And so, Sagittarius, I feel like that maybe for some of us, and listen, I don't feel like I'm not sensing necessarily any, like if we're in an existing relationship, if there's not any sort of tension, I feel like that's going down. Like if you don't feel that anything is wrong or that anything feels off or something along those lines, then I wouldn't worry about this. But if there's something that maybe has been on your mind, Sagittarius, for some others, let's start if we're in a relationship. If there's something where And again, keep in mind, friends, family, lovers, whatever. If you're sensing some kind of dissonance in you have some sort of doubts here, or or vice versa, if you're maybe picking up on energies from your person, possibly that there's some sort of thing that's going down here. I feel like we have a couple choices here. We could either go with this gut feeling, and I feel like we can maybe face this thing head on. And I don't feel like it has to be where it's like, like a heated conversation or anything along those lines. I feel like this is something where, if you have these doubts, let's create a safe space, a judgment-free zone. Because I feel like with the Eight of Wands, this is Mercury in Sagittarius. And I feel that, and I don't think that this is going to be any problem for you, Sag, but it's just like, I feel like before we, go in, whatever these doubts, or maybe we've been disappointed with how someone has been acting as of late, or something along those lines. I feel like that if we can go in with an open mind at first, going with the intention of the Star card of healing and, wanting to repair things, I feel that this could, I feel that the harmony could come back. I feel like this could potentially, alleviate some of those worries and fear that's maybe on your head, because I feel that if we keep this thing bottled up, on the other end, if we don't address this thing, maybe we're just like, oh, we'll just kind of see how this plays out. I feel if we do that, Sagittarius, that the fact that thought even popped in your head, that seed is planted. And it's where I don't feel that you're necessarily creating like a situation for like for anything to blow up, but there's that dissonance that's there. And if it's not addressed, I feel like it festers and it permeates it, and it becomes a whole thing over time, and it blows up in kind of weird sort of ways. So just something to think about there, where, I would never tell you what to do, and, filter your situation. Maybe this is how your person functions. Maybe it's just like, we'll deal with them when we deal with it. But yeah, we just want to be careful about that stuff, because those things can accumulate over time. I feel like with the Eight of Cups popping up in reverse here, and it can get to a place where it starts to hold us back. So we want to be mindful of that. But I feel like for some others, I almost feel like that maybe if we just got out of something, possibly, maybe we've been feeling been not very, because this is, for how lovely we had started, this was a really very interesting turn, especially with this Five of Cups. Honestly, with all this stuff here, this little four pocket here is kind of, kind of the exact opposite of this. And if we just got out of something, maybe like a date, or maybe an argument with a family member or a friend or something along those lines, I do feel like for some, if this is something where we can, again, another choice to be had. If you feel that this is something that you can repair, or that you even want to repair, I feel like that it's gonna be, it might take a little time to mend. Maybe this is something that we need to maybe give some space, kind of have people kind of process what maybe has gone down. But I do feel like eventually, if we feel like we can communicate with those person, absolutely, let's see if we can give that a try. But if not, I do feel that it's just like, how can we, I feel like as we're processing this situation and starting to maybe let this relationship go, allow yourself to really reflect on this and and think about what nuggets of wisdom did you get from this? Because people that come in our lives, they come in there for a reason. It's not random that the people that no matter how long or how short, they always have an impact. And I feel that sometimes we can get, especially if this is something where maybe we've had even like back-to-back type of things, it's just been really just kind of like dud after dud, and it just seems to like, it's just not seem to working out. So I do feel like, I'm not saying that you have to take the time that you need, but I feel like try not to rush through this process. Make sure that we are really comprehending how this situation affected us, so that we don't come into the same cycle in the future, especially if we notice this is something where we're having like a repeating type of trend here. Because it's not like I'm saying it's your fault, Sagittarius, but all those people that had what they have in common is you. And I feel like that's to say that like higher self is trying to, because the Two of Cups can also be a card of connecting with ourselves, like with your higher self. And even like the Star card can be getting in touch with those higher forces here. And I feel that if you're noticing this trend here and that something is not wrong, I feel like that, or like that. And if we can't pinpoint what that is, I feel like it's like maybe taking a little moment and just being with yourself for a little bit, because the Star card, this is Aquarius's card, and Aquarius is about the collective, where I feel like Aquarius is about the collective, Pisces is about the soul tribe. They take that friend group level that Aquarius establishes and then brings it a little bit deeper. But I feel like that this is almost like saying to kind of detach from the collective for a little bit and just really focus on yourself at this point. Find out, sit with that, like, why were they what were the disappointments that happened here? Why do we feel so let down? And in this way, it's just like, what I mean, Sagittarius? Because I do feel like that where I would never absolve a person for what they may have done in a relationship. It's something I've been recently kind of thinking about is, something to maybe kind of help this process where we move on, or, kind of help process this a little bit easier, is that when we go to maybe talk about, when we're thinking about blame and things, I wouldn't say necessarily blame it on the person, and hear me out. It's not to absolve them, but it's to not give them that kind of power, because if you let it where it's just like, you did this to me, you did blah, 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 and it's just like, whoa, no, with how they acted made you feel this way. If we pin it on that action, then now that thing's resolved, we can now move on, because it's just like, you're no longer attached to me. I wish you higher vibrations and to never get into that little pit again. But also, that's not going to work for me. You know what I mean? If that's how we're going to continue, if that's what we're continuing to manifest, then I got to take a step back and figure out where I want to go next on this journey. So, and that's, I feel like, a really healthy way, or one way to do it, kind of, Sagittarius, really just send them love and light, call it a day, and you've grown from that, and then you've got, it's a beautiful process. Right? I like that. Interesting start, because it definitely was just like, oh, we're about to talk about love. It's going to be beautiful. And you know what? It was beautiful, Sagittarius, because we learned something. We've learned to love ourselves, and some of us, we've deepened some bonds here, so it's fantastic. I'm with it. And you know what? Here's something that'll make you feel a little bit better, because this next energy is going to be a lit one for you, because you have Leo energy. Mercury's going to be a little busy this month, because you're going to have Mercury in Leo, and then we're going to have Venus in Leo, and Venus is about to hang out in Leo. So this is going to be a fun time for relationships. And you know what? Let's talk about Venus in Leo first, because Venus entered into Leo on the 5th of June and will be there through the 8th of October, right? Because she's going to be going retrograde. I want to say I want to say in Leo season, she's going to go retrograde, but we'll talk about that next month. But, with Venus being in Leo, this really makes like extroverts out of all of us. Leo is very just like, they're represented by the sun, so they can't help but want it to be seen. Just like, check it out. I got a whole bunch of Leo on my chart, and I can be a little over the top sometimes. But this is a great energy too, especially if we're trying to heal through something, for focusing on that self-confidence and that self-love. Really kind of doing that healing. Maybe take yourself out. Because the Two of Cups, this is Venus in Cancer. And you could take this energy, go ahead and treat yourself. Get your hair did there, Sag. Maybe go ahead and buy yourself some nice clothes. Get a nice little jacket or something. Start strutting your stuff. Get a little swag in your stuff. I see you, Sag. I know we're doing a lot. But listen, that's the whole point of Venus and Leo. Just Leo energy in general. To get out there and have some fun. Get this energy moving, especially if maybe we've been kind of beating ourselves up, or really kind of replaying a cycle or something along those lines. Kind of living in that energy. But also, another thing with Venus and Leo, because it can be a little over the top, a little dramatic, be aware of any kind of possible drama or any kind of tension stuff. Leo energy can get a little hot at times. So, you understand that heat, Sag, so just be mindful. But then we have Mercury that's entering Sagittarius, just skipped all over Leo. No, Mercury's going to be entering Leo on the 11th of July, and then we'll be there through the 28th of July. And with this communication becomes a little more straightforward because now we got that confidence. So it again, you know, if we are getting ourselves out there, you know, be bold, be assertive, you know, get your A game on there, Sag. But this is also a great energy because Leo is just very great at, you know, just imaginative, fun energy. This is could be a great energy for like a lot of jokes and laughter. And I mean, you got a great sense of humor, Sag. So really live this up. And you know what too? This is a great energy for putting yourself out there. Again, whether this is with dating or if this is just like, you know, maybe we're going to do maybe like some public speaking, or maybe we want to do like release a book, or maybe you want to go maybe play in like a jazz club or something along those lines. Like get yourself out there, be confident, you know, express that creative energy, because like I was saying, Leo energy is very creative. So definitely tap into that energy there, Sagittarius. Super fun. And the nice thing about this energy as well is depending on where you have your Sagittarius placements, this is going to be forming a trine with your sign. And trines are the most fortunate aspects of aspects. You know, it's very harmonious, very lucky, creates very easy flow, like removes obstacles for you. It's very very cool how that energy works. So pay attention to this stuff. You know, we got opportunities aplenty, but let's get some tarot on this, get some details, or get an oracle on this. Yeah. Thank you. Let's see what we got here, Sag. Ooh, interesting. All right, I'm with it. You got the second card of Virgos here, which is the coin toss card. And with this card, this is a card of choices, either or, be fair, considering pros and cons, fate, equal, two sides to every story, butterfly effect, either way, 50-50 chance, unpredictable, can't decide, and take a chance. All right, I see you, Sagittarius, spoiled for choice. So maybe for some of us, you know, maybe we're at this place where we're kind of, I mean, like I said, it's Leo energy, you know, go ahead and have yourself a little fun. Maybe we're not thinking about anything long term right now, which I ain't mad at you. You know, go ahead and see how the collective's doing. But listen, Sagittarius, actually just putting that out there, and, you know, got this lovers and, you know, soul tribe and stuff. Let's just be mindful, you know, of how we're putting our energies out there. Be safe, you know, have fun, but, you know, just be mindful there. But it does seem like that maybe we're at this place where we're just really kind of playing the field right now. Can it just kind of here, you know, kind of either or, here nor there, you know, and I feel like as long as, you know, what am I trying to say? That there's an understanding of the casualness of these relationships, then absolutely, you know, I feel like really allow yourself to, again, just have some fun, because sometimes, you know, dating is exhausting. I just got out of a thing not too long ago, and the thought of even going back out there, like, pass, you know, just like, you know what, we're gonna do some self-love right now. But this, I do feel for some of you, absolutely, just kind of take that chance, because who knows, Sagittarius? You know, you may have had something where something flopped, but you took that. If you're taking that time to reflect, you know, taking that time to heal, it could come fast, could come slow. But you know, sometimes love, when love comes a knocking, you know, and soulmate comes a knocking, you know, just you might want to see where that 50-50 chance, you know, but could go either way. Look at me, I'm just being vague, but. Trust your gut, you know, trust your intuition, especially I feel like with this Cancerian season, you know, how we really navigate is with our feelings. You know, if something feels right, we're going to explore that a little bit. Absolutely. So I feel like do the same. If something, you know, if it resonates with you, I feel like it's worth the time, Sagittarius, you know, especially if you think it's going to raise your vibration. But I do feel like maybe for some others, you know, if we're still kind of processing something. And I do feel like that there's, with this two sides to every story that's popping out, I'm not saying that you're not hearing out your person, but maybe some of us feels like, maybe we feel like our side of the story didn't get heard, or that, and you know, it could be the other way, Sagittarius, you know, take it as it resonates, but I do feel like there may be some closure that might need to be had, or something along those lines, just if we find ourselves kind of stuck in our head, or maybe kind of having trouble moving past a situation that really kind of let us down here. But let's get some tarot on this and get some more details. Oh, almost? Okay. Thank you. Let's see what we got here. Interesting. Okay. So you have, So you have the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Wands in reverse here. And then we have the Knight of Wands and then the Four of Swords upright. And I almost feel like, Sagittarius, that maybe some of us, this gives me an energy of like maybe in the past, maybe we were dealing with like an immature type of energy for some of you. Because because so far, you know, we're getting pretty heavy relationship vibes here. Now we got some people showing up in the mix. And maybe we're at this place right now where, I don't know, it's just like it almost feels like that. For some of us, if we're single and maybe we're kind of looking for something right now, or maybe if we're not even looking, I feel like that maybe there's something about this Knight of Wands here. So I feel like that maybe if we had like a certain type that we attracted or something along those lines, maybe they tended to be either immature, not sure how to manage their energy, or maybe might have been irresponsible with their finances, or just maybe even just kind of all over the place, you know what I mean? Just not, not really sure where to channel that. Like, I'm not getting necessarily like, because fire energy, it almost feels like that there's someone here with this Knight of Wands that may come out of left field, that really may kind of surprise you here. I'm not saying it's going to be anytime soon necessarily with the Eight of Wands being here, but I would say just maybe kind of pay attention if we're just like, I don't know, if we're like maybe deciding to put ourselves out there and maybe someone comes in kind of bold, because the Knight of Wands is Leo energy. He rules the first two deacons, well, I guess she rules the first two deacons of Leo and the last of Cancer. And I feel like that maybe there's this person here that may come out that's going to be kind of like this bold, kind of like real, kind of like, I don't know, just kind of like real extravagant type of energy, but safe. You know what I mean? With that Cancerian touch in there, maybe emotional. I'm not quite sure. Let me get a little bit more on that Knight of Wands there. But it feels like something that maybe if we've been worried about if we're going to just keep attracting the type of people, like how I was saying, maybe if we were in kind of like a cycle, I feel like maybe we started out at first, but now I feel like we've upgraded, because now we're moving from pages to nights. But let me get a little bit more on that. But I do feel like in order for us to move to that night status, we do need to find out what lessons we're trying to be taught from these pages. Because even though it may have been, even if it was their fault what was going down, it's just like what attracted us to them in the first place. You know what I mean? And how funny, Sagittarius, sidebar, that just kind of dawned on me too. The crystal that I'm using is a heart-shaped one. Definitely didn't plan that, but I'm with it. So Sag, the Knight of Wands is clarified by the Fool in reverse and the Four of Pentacles in reverse. And I get this, because maybe if we find that a person comes along, I feel like that maybe some of us, we may be a little guarded at first, may be a little uncertain about if we're going to make this move or not with this Fool. Maybe we're going to kind of play the field at first, or, kind of maybe see where this thing goes. But I do feel like, again, with it being in Cancer season right now, this is an energy for you to take things kind of slow. Maybe this Knight of Wands is excited to meet you, but I feel like maybe they're willing to put in the time. Maybe wait till they invest if you're not quite feeling this right off the bat. But I will say just in general, Sagittarius, however this may be resonating with you, like if we're looking for a relationship, I do feel like that making sure that we have taken the time to just again, process what has gone down here in the past and make sure that we are feeling emotionally ready to put ourselves out there again, because if you're not quite feeling the commitment there, I don't feel like it's that we're necessarily, love will be there for you when you are ready for it, but it's something that I do feel like you got to make sure that you're ready for it, that we've we've thought about this stuff here, and something along those lines. But all right, Sagittarius, we're here. Okay, hold on. Let me get a little bit more on this. It's a little bit more on this Four of Swords here. Anything else? Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay. So the Four of Swords is clarified by the Three of Wands and the Knight of Cups in reverse. And the Knight of Cups, here's another knight for you. Knight of Cups, he's romantic as all get. I mean, look at him, got his picnic basket, his roses, and his white horse. Yeah, he does a lot. He kind of brings it. But, ooh, and look at his tattoos. Okay, stop that. But listen, with this Knight of Cups, I do feel that there's something here where I almost feel like, and not to say it's this Knight of Wands, but I feel like that this is like past behavior here. I feel like watch out for, or be aware of, I almost feel like that, like of others like coming in and just like kind of putting that best foot forward, like right off the bat. You know what I mean? I feel like that where it's nice to see, like I, loved you did bring your A game, but it's just like, are you going to be able to sustain that over time? Are we going to be able to grow with this thing? Or if this like, I just feel like it's just like being aware of maybe where the intentions are at. You know what I mean? Just like making sure that things are clear, and it's just like, yo, I'm like, where I appreciate your romance and stuff like that, bro, you're coming on a little strong here. I'm trying to have some fun right now. Let's play some drums, let's go out in the field, whatever that's looking like. But, let's save the picnics for, let's give me a lunar cycle maybe, and we'll think about it. But, okay. I'm with it. Okay. Interesting reading here, Sagittarius. I like it. Now let's talk about Virgo energy. Because you got Mars that's in Virgo. And Mars is going to enter Virgo on the 10th of July and will be there through the 27th of October. Oh, excuse me, the 27th of August. And with this energy, this I feel like is a really dope placement for Mars, because Mars being the planet of action and passion and things, Virgo being very analytical, detail-oriented. This is very efficient energy, you know what I mean? So this is great stuff for getting things done, whether we're talking about paperwork, we're talking about getting life in order. This, I feel like Mars energy is great for that, focusing on your health, whether that be physical, mental, spiritual, really just kind of getting things back in line. But I will say, with Virgo energy, we do want to be mindful of being overly critical, just because, they're trying to purify stuff. They're considered like, they get the moniker being like the perfectionists and things, but so just be mindful of that. Let's because this could even be, since we're talking about love, let's be mindful of maybe even like the standards that we may be setting, we're not trying to have people jump through hoops or anything. We definitely want to make sure that we're, they're coming correct, but we don't want them to pay for other people's past actions. I feel like everyone deserves a clean slate until otherwise, and then we just tweak as necessary. But let's get and with this energy here, Sag, depending again on where your Sag placements are at, this is going to form a square with your position. And square situations are interesting because it's just like one of those things where it feels like that the universe is just kind of throwing you curveballs left and right. Things just kind of provide, it can bring about some internal conflict, some restrictions, challenges, things along those lines. And there may be some delays in our achievement, but there will be achievement in the long run, but it's just, it may take a minute, it's very, square energy is not very harmonious, but when we can learn to work in those situations, can try to find the like we were talking about with this maybe past stuff and letting go of things here. If we can find the nuggets and the potential out of this stuff here, then that's how you make the most out of a squared situation. But let's get get an oracle on this. All right, look at you syncing up with the energies here. You got the 8th card of Virgos, which is the Grapes card. I like it because this is a card of abundance, bearing fruit, harvest, fertility, merriment, prosperity, surplus, fullness, juicy, overindulge, tempting, goodness, plentiful, wealth. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. And this is what I'm talking about. You know, just before I get into the kind of relationship aspect of this thing, I do feel like that this is great energy for you, Sagittarius, to work on if there are any areas that we're not, because this even, we can talk about relationships with even like our finances or just like wherever we're not feeling abundant. If there's somewhere we want to improve that security, you know, and really kind of, because that's how we do Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus, which we're going to talk about next. But if we're finding that there's somewhere where we're feeling this lack thereof, is thinking about how we can get that stuff into balance. You know, great for working with this Mars and Virgo energy, you know, getting things in order, you know, kind of organizing, you know, setting a game plan, you know, getting like a checklist, you know, I want to be here, here, and here by this point, you know, that's how we put Virgo energy to work. So I feel like you know, Virgo's the King of Pentacles in this deck, or in tarot decks, but this could be as well. You know, I'm even thinking almost just like when we're thinking about this energy here, now kind of tying in relationships, this could even be thinking about, maybe some of us are thinking about like our joint finances even possibly. And this could maybe something where we're getting like our King and Queen of Pentacles type of energy. So I'm saying when I'm talking about King of Pentacles, and this could be maybe where we're trying to, how do we grow even together? You know what I mean? How do we make our, just something here about even just like, starting up like almost like a family thing, you know, see if we can get something. We're not necessarily going in with like a business, but like, I don't know, like a pooling of assets or something along those lines, Sagittarius. But also, again, just how I was talking about earlier with the pregnancies and things, fertility, you got another little thing of fertility, you know, something to think about too. Because the overindulge and the fertility are kind of popping in with me. I do feel like that we do want to be careful, I feel, of using, or not using, but just like, well, you know, meeting up with others in order for us to not deal with situations, you know, because now that's kind of getting into devil territory, because we can overindulge on people too, you know, and to not face our stuff. But keep that in mind, you know, that we're spreading that energy around, you know what I mean? And it's not to say that you're lowering their vibration or anything like that, but it's, some interesting stuff can come out when we're in that sort of vulnerable space like that, Sagittarius. So I just feel like we just want to be mindful of that, okay? But let's get some tarot on this. And something too, just enjoying the fruits of your labor. I feel like that this is something where it's like, I'm getting like a couples thing where it's just like, either enjoy the stuff that you've already built there, Sagittarius, you know, making more time to, treat yourself, you know, take yourself out, you know, maybe take yourself out for a date, or, you know, again, do some self-care. Or if this is like a family that we're thinking about, maybe we're thinking about taking it to that next level, or, let me get, let's see what tarot we got here. Interesting. Okay. So we have the Seven of Swords, the World, and the High Priestess in reverse here. And then we have the Four of Cups upright. And this is very interesting because when you think about the relationship, because the High Priestess is the moon and the World is Saturn. And Saturn rules Capricorn, and you know, the moon rules Cancer. And I feel like for some of you, there may be like this almost like a lonely energy. Because when these two, I'm just thinking when these two aspects, you know, there's this weirdness that, not weirdness, but there's this, there can be this feeling of like our emotions are kind of restricted, or that we're in this like, it almost feels like that maybe some of us, we haven't been, it's like because we've maybe been so disappointed, we've been looking for abundance, you hear like there's so many fish in the sea and blah blah blah, but it's just like we can't seem to find that one fish. Then we can get to this place of where we're just like, well, you know what, whatever, just I'm kind of over it. Just like I'd rather be by myself. And I don't feel like there's anything necessarily wrong with that. But, being like independent and things along those lines. But I do feel like there's something here about like not necessarily closing yourself off, that not everyone does what maybe has happened to us in the past. You know what I mean? I feel like we want to be mindful of like generalizations and things along those lines where sure, we may have came across experiences. It's just like saying that, like, for example, like or you know what, even better, Sagittarius. I had someone who, we were talking about Sag energy, this was maybe a little while back, and they were saying that Libra, and was saying that, Sagittarius, they got some mouths on them. And it's just like, well, yeah, but I was like, on the flip, I say that might have been your experience with them, but every Sagittarius I know, I have a blast with. And like, yeah, they got some mouths on them, but they're hysterical. So it's just like, I said, and my next question was, what did you say to piss that Sag off? So it really is like that type of thing. I feel like it's a matter of everyone experiences the energies differently. And I feel like that saying that every type is the same old thing, then it gets it to where we're attracting the same old thing. And I feel like that's how we can get stuck in a cycle here. And then I feel like we're closing ourselves off emotionally, because where the moon deals with our intuition, the moon is also, the priestess, she also deals with our emotions because she is the moon, and I feel like this is something that it's okay to have felt maybe betrayed or maybe disappointed by a situation, and like we're maybe fearful about this thing happening again. And look at this, I mean, you got the world, because after the world is the Fool. And it seems like that, yeah, if we're having troubles move on, I feel like there might be something with maybe changing the narrative, or change what we may tell ourselves, kind of getting out of that cycle, that comfort zone, because the Four of Cups, this is the moon in Cancer. And so allow yourself to reflect on this, Sagittarius, and I feel that when we find the nuggets of wisdom that were meant to come from this thing, then we're able to find that security in this. Like it's interesting how this is going down here, because you got, like, I only bring that security stuff up here because you got three of a kind here with the Four of Pentacles, Swords, and Cups. And fours can deal with stability and security. Four is Emperor energy, that strong foundation. So I feel that if we can, something about changing the narrative or how and give it some time. Again, maybe give it a lunar cycle. But I feel that something can change here, and that abundance can come, but we just have to be open up to it, because this could be just like where we say, like, oh, I'll never date a Scorpio again, but a Scorpio, Knight of Cups, may never date a Scorpio again, but we may be closing ourselves off to soulmates, because again, there are two sides to every story, Sagittarius, so something to be mindful of. Right? I'm with it. I like it, Sag. Now let's talk about Taurus energy. Because with Taurus, you got Jupiter in Taurus, and then you got Uranus that are going to be chilling in Taurus. Let's talk about your ruler first, because this is going to be, are you feeling extra abundant there, Sagittarius? Because with Jupiter being in Taurus, this is a dope placement, because Jupiter is going to be in Taurus until the end of, to about the 25th of May next year, 2024. And with this energy, this is about thinking, how can we invest in ourselves long term? How can we get the most, how can we take your already abundant selves and really, draw that energy out so that things are working for you, you know what I mean? So that we always got something kind of saved up here, whether this be financially, maybe we're thinking about how we're going to, maybe we're working on a new health routine, maybe we're switching up how we're eating, this could be, maybe we're getting into more kind of spiritual practices, whatever areas that you want to grow and expand expand and then keep that going. That's what Jupiter in Taurus is about, you know. Learn some new stuff, you know, really allow yourself to grow, expand, and tap into that energy, because, you know, the more I feel like, especially you Sagittarius, the more that you're really learning and experiencing life and things, you know, the more abundant that you become, you know. It's and because then, and even then, because you could be, I mean, just like really like abundant in wisdom. I like this can be really, this next year can be a very I feel like a great energy for you to become more just to build up that self-esteem as well, because that's another aspect that Taurus deals with, because, you know, once we're feeling secure, you know, that gets us in a real confident space. So just something to think about there. And then then we got Uranus here, the Fool. And Uranus has been in Taurus since about 2018 and will be there until about right before my birthday, the 7th of July, 2025. And with Uranus in Taurus, things have been just constantly changing, you know, and it's just we're still going through it. I was just talking with someone the other day, you know, Taurus can kind of get into, because, you know, they enjoy the finer things, you know, they deal with the senses. So we're talking about, I was talking about food with someone the other day, and they were talking about even like how investing in maybe more just kind of like bulk products and things, you know, getting like rice and beans and things along those lines, stuff that have really long shelf life, so that you know, that can provide an abundance of meals, so that we're not worried about maybe that type of stuff. But, you know, the times are changing, you know, especially with Pluto doing some work, you know, and I feel like these next, I'd say honestly, probably like at least these next couple, let's start with the next couple of years, 2025 in particular, because we're going to have, what is it going to be? At least 3, probably 4 big planetary shifts. So like a lot of outer planets. I'm sure Jupiter will be moving about that time. Saturn will be moving. Neptune's going to be moving. And Uranus is going to be moving. And that's going to be a lot. That's going to be a whole lot. So it's getting ready for that stage. And, you know, because Uranus brings in the future. So be thinking about this. And it's not to get you panicked or anything. This is just to get you ready to into, you know, what do you want to bring into this new world? You know, what potential are you bringing to the table? And keep a cool head in this. Be with your emotions in this stuff here. You know, pay attention to that stuff. If we're feeling anxious, anything along those lines, let's figure out how we can fix that there, Sag. But let's get an oracle on this. Nice. I don't think I've gotten this card yet, Sag. Look at you. You got the 9th card of Leo's here, which is the checker flag. I'm with it, because I like this. This is a card of conclusion, outcome, finale, completion, verdict, settled, results, signaling the end, finishing first, achievement, culmination, final chapter, endings, and feeling relieved. And I like that. And that's basically what we were talking about here. If there are, I do feel like for some of you, you know, just thinking how we were kind of, if there anything, because we are in a period, we're getting ready to get very retrograde heavy over these next couple of months. You know, the planets are all slowly moving into, it's going to be like a retrograde dance for a while, especially around Virgo season. If there's something that we've been hanging on to that has been holding us down, that's, you know, any sort of like fears with the 9 of Swords, any kind of 8 of Cups, you know, 5 of Cups, 2 of Cups, you know, anything that have been preventing us from starting something anew or, you know, building a new foundation, whatever. I feel like we do want to take some time and over these, you know, over this next year really to start, you know, working on, I'm not saying you have to have everything all figured out by then, but just start getting that ball rolling to start closing some things that are no longer serving you a purpose, you know. And this could be, if this is with people, I don't feel like we're necessarily like cutting people out of our lives, but this could be something where we may be establishing some boundaries with these pages. We may be strengthening some stuff with this Knight of Wands here, Knight of Cups, you know, we're still feeling them out. But I do feel that we do want to get to this place where especially if you've been maybe feeling a little stressed or maybe been feeling just like there's just been maybe even just feeling a lot, not even feeling yourself, you know, how do we get to this place of relief, you know, and get to this state of calm and in getting out of this, if out of a cycle, if we have been stuck here, Sagittarius. But I do feel like maybe for some others, that maybe there's something here, just thinking about this achievements and things. If there's been something we wanted to pursue, I feel like with the Knight of Cups being in reverse here, but maybe we've been putting like our passions on the back burner, even with like the Two of Cups being in reverse here. I feel like that if you have like a dream or something, whether this be, I don't know, maybe want to start up like a side business, or maybe we want to change careers or something along those lines. I feel like, entertain that and see where that leads you, Sagittarius, because, that's what Saturn in Pisces, and which we're going to talk about next. What Saturn in Pisces wants us to do is kind of make sure that we're living our dreams, especially with the, Knight of Wands being here, Leo energy, all that creative energy. And honestly, Cancer too is creative. This feels like it's really putting yourself out there and seeing, taking that chance. Sure, this may go either or, but the nice thing is I feel that if this is something we've been thinking about, but we're afraid we're going to fail, well, if you don't do it, then you're not doing anything. And that's worse than failing, because we're not getting any feedback. All we're doing is creating what ifs. You know what I mean? But if we do this thing, sure, there may be some times where we fail along the way. That's just inevitable. But we learn from it, we tweak it, and then we keep it growing. You know what I mean? That's the whole point of the journey. That's what Saturn wants. That's what all the planets want there, Sag. But let's get some tarot on the mix. Let's see what we got here. Interesting. All right. So we got the King of Swords and the Seven of Pentacles in reverse here. And then we have the Six of Swords and the Nine of Pentacles upright. And so, Sagittarius, I do feel like that if we've been feeling that we've made some very, some kind of weird investments in the past, whether this be with people, whether this be with maybe like this could even be maybe like a living situation, maybe with a job, something along those lines. And if we're not feeling that this is getting us to where we want to be, where, if this is not, I feel like if this is not how we pictured where this experience is going, I almost feel like it's saying pause for a second and figure out if this is something where, like, for example, if this was like a business, let's say, and if we're seeing that things haven't been going our way and we're trying to figure out, what it is that's going down here, I feel that it's almost like if, let me get a little bit more on that Seven of Pentacles. There's your ruler. All right, so we got the Seven of Pentacles is clarified by the Wheel and the Moon. And interesting. You know what? Okay, that makes more sense. So with this energy, Sagittarius, I feel that for some of you, especially we've been feeling kind of maybe stuck in a situation. Maybe we've been questioning how these, maybe this could be like our relationships or something. If we've been, so let me get my thoughts together. If this is a relationship, I feel that I feel like in order to get on to the next chapter, to really feel like that something has come to a close. There's something about seeing a situation for what it really was. Because I feel like we may be thinking that this thing just happened to us to just like maybe kind of keep us down or something along those lines, or that we just have maybe like the worst, maybe we're not just like, maybe we're having like the worst luck or something along those lines. But I mean, Sagittarius, you're steeped in luck. You're ruled by Jupiter, so I don't feel like that's the case. I think that it's more so like the narrative that we may be telling ourselves, you know, because the moon could be a card of deception and a card of trickery, illusions. And it's not to say that what they didn't do didn't hurt you, but it's just like, how is that strengthening you? You know what I mean? How can we take these skills and grow from this? Because there's something. For example, I had something not a little while back, and I thought it was one thing, turns out it was another thing. And that really kind of flipped things on their head quite a bit and put me in a weird kind of place, like a tricky place. And it's just like, what the F? And it took me a minute, but like right as I was getting ready to leave, like get like moved out and things, the wisdom came. Because where maybe how things went down wasn't ideal, but what I got from it while I was in it was worth more than what they did. You know what I mean? And that's where I feel that this energy is trying to lead you here. And I feel like in order to get to that place, it's finding out, even if this was a crappy ending, what was it? And this could be with a relationship. This could be maybe even with like a business, with a job, whatever. It's just like, sure, maybe things did go south, even like if a business failed or something like that, but it's just like, what do we learn? Was it that we tried to take on too much by ourselves? You know, maybe did we need a team? Was it the team that we were working with? Maybe they didn't actually know what they were doing. You know, maybe it was poor guidance. Maybe we need, you know what I mean? It's not saying that I feel like it's not a question of fault. You know what I mean? As far as like pointing blame, especially at yourself, Sagittarius. And not that I don't think that you do blame yourself, but even pointing it at others, because what is that going to do? You know what I mean? Where I do get feeling upset, absolutely. But it's just like there's more to this than that, you know? And I feel that when we can feel those feelings, process them, and then send them love and light and take care, that's where the real abundance is. That's where the real growth is. And that's how we turn a majority of this stuff upright here, or get everything in the positions that we need so that we are reaping these grapes. And, you know, and I hope this makes sense, Sagittarius, because there's something here that is just like, it's like we're right there, but there's something here. There's like another, I don't want, like a lesson or something, or like a perspective shift that needs to happen, you know, because this is the Nine of Pentacles, this is Venus and Virgo. And I feel like that when we figure that thing out, then we're going to get to our Empress energy, you know, get to that state of feeling stable and feeling confident again, and all of that there, Sagittarius. All right, I like that. Okay, let's get some tea and let's talk about Pisces. Saturn and Pisces. I'm with it. So you got Saturn, we got Pisces energy. Saturn is in Pisces doing his retrograde right now, and then we got Neptune that's about to start her retrograde dance because she was getting a little jealous. But let's start with Saturn and Pisces since it came up here in a strong way. Saturn and Pisces. This is like a cosmic interrogation. You know, Saturn is the taskmaster. He's the type that he's very abundant, just like Jupiter. It's just that where Jupiter would just give it all to you, good, you know, and whatever abundance. And see, that's the tricky thing with the wheel as well, Sagittarius, with your ruler, where yes, Jupiter is mad abundant. Yes, you need abundance here, but it's what energy are you attracting? You know what I mean? That's where I feel like we want to be mindful of, just thinking with that wheel, how I was talking about, that's how we can get to this moving on here. But Saturn, he has a checklist that needs to be filled out before he gives the abundance out. He kind of Jupiter and Taurus is it, where he's just like, you do this, all right, I'm gonna give you that. Ooh, okay, you doing some more? Dope. Oh, you learned that wisdom? Hell yeah. You know, that's Saturn all day, and that's what's happening right now. Especially if there was something that like where I was talking about if we have any sort of like dreams and like taking that chance and things along those lines, because Pisces is very dreamy energy, you know what I mean? They deal with, they have a vivid imagination. They're associated with the 12th house, and I feel like it's, the 12th house can deal with like mysteries and, you know, hidden things and, in a few other stuff, but I'm more so thinking in that more kind of mysterious kind of fantasy kind of realm. Like this is like unlocking that inner, being able to tap into that your inner self, you know, really check in with your spirituality, connect with higher self, and find out if this is not how we pictured our world looking like, well, then what do you want? You know, that's what Saturn is asking. What do you want? And then let's go do it. You know, let's make this thing manifest. And I know, like, isn't he a hard ass? Even in Pisces, he's still a little aggressive. But this is actually a pretty chill placement, I feel like, for him, because he really does want us to get more spiritually attuned, you know, the wheel here. Because Sagittarius, you're associated with the 9th house. That Dev, you're so spiritual. That's very wise. It's about higher education and expansion. So be thinking about that. How do you want your world to grow more? You know, what do you want to change? Uranus energy. But then we have Neptune, and this is, I'm kind of excited for Neptune retrograde, because Neptune's going to start retrograding on the 30th of June and will be retrograde through the 6th of December. And this is a really powerful, because Neptune is one of, along with Jupiter, Neptune rules, so yeah, you and Pisces are co-ruled by Jupiter, but, or both ruled by Jupiter, but this is a very powerful time for introspection and for self-discovery and like really connecting with your inner self and that inner wisdom, because, you know, where Neptune deals with like illusions, fantasy, things that are locked away from us, now that we're going retrograde, it's like that veil is being lifted, and now we can really deal with those type of any areas that need any kind of healing, or anywhere that we can, yeah, get some more inner wisdom in, and really, yeah, really develop a stronger, even more kind of compassionate bond with ourselves, and really tap into our hidden potential there, Sagittarius. This is going to be, I personally feel like this is going to be a really, you know, the fact that this is even happening during Cancerian season, it's just like, really tune in, you know, listen to that intuition, you know what I mean? The High Priestess, pay attention to this stuff, you know, do some meditations, you know, maybe getting by some water, maybe going up kicking it with the King of Swords, maybe going it up in the mountains, but going to the desert, whatever that's looking like, but just doing things that get you in a more spiritual space that can help you move on to this next level here, Sagittarius. And then again, depending on, just like with that Virgo energy, depending on where your Sagittarius placements are at, this is forming a square with your situation. So there may be some stuff where where you feel like the universe is really kind of forcing you. This is going to be interesting energy for you, you know, where you're going to feel like you may be forced into some type of situations that things feel out of your control, but where outside influences may be going down, Sagittarius. The nice thing about this being in Cancer season right now, we may not be able to control that stuff, but we can control how we can feel about it and how we can navigate through it. Where yes, it may be crappy, but how can we turn all this crap into gold, or, you know, something along those lines. But let's get enough analogies. Let's get on to get an oracle on this. Interesting, huh? You're syncing up with the energies, because you got the 8th card of Pisces on Pisces, which is the old car. With this old car, this is a card of weary, retired, exhaustion, bone tired, needs restoration, overdue, old habits die hard, enduring, the good old days, family patterns, back in time, stuck in the past, and nostalgia. All right. So for some of you, if we have been in this place where we just have been just kind of just in general, just really kind of tired, whether this be physical exhaustion, maybe we've been we're just emotionally exhausted with maybe all this relationship stuff, again, however that's translating, I do feel like making sure, especially since you got the Four of Swords here, making sure that we're taking time to rest up, that we're healing and, taking care of ourselves. Two of Cups as well, nurturing yourself. But this is, since you got Saturn and Pisces in like 3 different ways, Sagittarius, this is something where I do, because like I was saying, the 8 of Cups is Saturn and Pisces. You got Saturn, Pisces, where we're talking about more Pisces. There's something here about if there's something that is holding you back, maybe some old habits that have been keeping you down. Maybe this is we're hooking up with the same type of people. Maybe we're finding ourselves making the same type of mistakes, or this. If it just seems like it's just been like the same cycle over and over again, it's just like, how can we break this up? This could be too, just even talking about family patterns. Maybe this is something for some of us, this relationship that's going deep. This could be a family thing, maybe where, because you do have the world, I was talking about the world and High Priestess, that's, Cancer and Capricorn energy. That could be, the mother and the father of the Zodiac. Maybe this is some sort of like parental thing, maybe some childhood healing or something along those lines. But we want to be careful about being stuck in those type of patterns and staying stuck in the past. It's very 6 of Cups in reverse here. We want to be aware of that. And it can get into even like, again, maybe even like 7 of Cups, which is a prelude to a devil moment. So be paying attention to that. But let's get let's get some tarot on this. And I feel like too, when we think about like the good old days, where I do appreciate nostalgia, we want to use, I feel like, nostalgia as a motivator to create new experiences and to create bigger ones, because we don't want things the same as they were in the past, because we were at a different vibration then. We want things bigger in the past, because here's the thing, as we grow, yes, the problems may get intense because we're leveling up, but so does the abundance, Jupiter, the world. But let's see what we got here. Interesting. All right, there you are, Sag. I'm with it. You got the 3 of Pentacles, the Hermit, and then the Temperance card. In Sagittarius, like I was saying, because right before you are the stop right before the devil. You know what I mean? And I feel that this is making sure that you are in balance, in any aspect, whether this is, again, maybe taking some rest, or this is maybe we're doing some meditations going on. Maybe we're going on a vacay. Maybe we're going to where is she? She's on some kind of cliffside here. So maybe we're going to just like a place to just kind of isolate ourselves. Or this could even be, just like a staycation. But I do feel like that if there's stuff that we're noticing, some old patterns and things with the 3 of Pentacles, I feel, it's going to be some work, but it's going to be worth it in the long run, because it's going to get you to the state of, where were we at? For feeling relieved, with this checkered flag, to getting to things, to bring stuff to a conclusion so that we can start pursuing new opportunities and greatness there, Sagittarius. But I feel that it's just going to be a matter of reflection, like I was talking about, and and it's gonna, Virgo season, I feel like it's gonna be kind of a tricky one for all of us, but possibly for you, you Virgo, and probably Gemini in particular, and probably Pisces too. It's going to be a little interesting, just with all that, just where the fact that all the retrogrades are happening in their sign. So this is a great time for just traveling within and finding that inner light, and even something too. This could be even where I was talking about that skill earlier, something along those lines. Maybe for some of us, we may have like an old skill that we might need to, or that we may want to polish up. Like maybe we used to play an instrument in the past. Maybe we're in a band and we're thinking about starting that up. Or maybe we used to do maybe there were some hobbies. Maybe we used to restore old cars, but maybe we got a little busy with life and then got out of that hobby. You know, just something here about maybe that's even needing, like maybe just like some old interest or things might even need some restoration or something along those lines. But, and that's a great way to get in balance too. But a lot to think about there. But I like it because you're here in a very strong way, showing up all big and bold. I love this Temperance card. This is a really cool Temperance. Alrighty, let's get on to the last little guy here. Well, not little guy, because he might be a little, not a planet anymore, but I was actually joking with somebody talking about Pluto. I was telling them about all these, a lot of the people in my kind of little circle are going through some Pluto transits right now. We're going to be feeling them over the next few years. And one of them, one of my buddies in Aquarius actually was just like, how's Pluto doing all this work? It's not even a planet. I was just like, see, people starting insulting him, telling him he wasn't a planet. Now he's pissed off and he's really going to work. So, but we got, I don't even think I took a drink. Hold on there, Seth. Because we got Pluto in Capricorn. And with Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto's going to be retrograde until the 10th of October, and will be in Capricorn until pretty much Aquarius season starts up. And with Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto in Capricorn asks us, what can we do to feel more self-sufficient, you know, to feel more like that we're able to provide, like to feel more accomplished, you know, and like what success and abundance looks like for you. And then and especially with both Pluto and Saturn are getting ready to be, because Pluto's already retrograde, but with Saturn getting ready to retrograde here, on Friday, we, depending on when you're watching this, we are really in a time of letting things go, because Pluto, when it comes to change, Pluto is this is like deals with like death and things, but I mean like more so like a ego death, and like, you know, just like it's like intense transformation, but in getting in touch with those like kind of like darker ambassadors of ourselves, you know what I mean? It's really doing that you talk, Pluto is like for real shadow work. But when you learn to integrate those energies, man, they become some powerful allies. But it's Three of Pentacles. It takes some working. You know what, Three of Pentacles as well, this could be something, you know, you got quite a few people here. This could be something where we might need a support system as well. Just someone to maybe just talk with, you know, kind of process these emotions and things as they may come up for you, Sagittarius. But on a more global level, you know, Capricorn, this is actually, you know, Pluto in Capricorn is a really strong placement in general, because Capricorn they're the achievers of the zodiac. And so where they're going to do whatever it takes to get this change done, that's going to be kind of intense for us, because, you know, Pluto deals with us, you know, these outer planets deal with, they affect us individually, of course, but they definitely deal on a more generational aspect as well. So we're going to notice Capricorn can deal with, you know, things as far as like how we feel about the structures are going to change. Things in authorities, you know, government and stuff is going to change, you know, just a lot of stuff, you know, how we view status, materials, all of that is going to shift on its head. So be aware of that, Sagittarius, where yes, there's going to be a lot of stuff kind of cooking up right now, but it's not just that things are just dismantling just because, you know, this is a chance for us to build on top of that, to create a brand new world, because the rules of the game are changing. But let's get some tarot, or get an oracle on this. Ha! You really are. All right, Sag. I see you. Heard. You're bringing it, because you got Capricorn energy. You got the 6th card of Capricorns, which is the bodybuilder card. And with this card, this is a card of power, strength, forceful, determined, disciplined, vigor, domination, push forward, influence, leverage, mastery, resolve, intense, resistance, self-improvement, and exercise. And you know, just on a base level, this is a great time for really focusing on where you want to improve. You know, what areas, and it's not even just like if you want to work on your physical. We're trying to do kickouts with our kettlebells there. Go and get it, Sag. But this can be something too. You know, maybe working on just again our mental self improvement, or like spiritually we're improving, but just really working on areas that we feel weak in and getting those energies toned. You know, getting them. You know, building a solid foundation for yourself, you know, coming into your highest vibration, temperance, you know. But I do feel that this is saying it's going to be some work, you know. It doesn't matter however this is looking, and just kind of settle in there. It's not to say that we're not going to enjoy the process along the way. We can find ways to incorporate fun and stuff in this as well, but just know that this is going to require us to have some discipline, you know, especially when we're thinking about these areas of growth. Because if we're slacking on this stuff, it's not to say that you won't get to where you need to be, but it just may slow down the energies. Because it's like when we, in a situation, when it's in a square aspect, is going to be difficult, you know, but when we catch it in a trine, it's going to be a lot easier because now the obstacles are removed. But it's just a matter of when we decide to work with the energies. And I do feel like with this as well, it's just making sure to be mindful of how we are expending our energies and realize that this is a lot that we're all going through, and to make sure again that we are taking time to rest up in between and, you know, and restoring ourselves. But let's get some tarot on this. I like that. All right, got the Seven of Cups here. Okay, interesting. So we have the Seven of Cups and the Five of Swords upright, and then we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. All righty, and let's switch back over here, Sagittarius, because with this energy, I do feel like that if we have been maybe in conflict. Oh, let me hold on. How am I? All this moving and stuff. Camera keeps moving over. But if we've been in a state of, or you know what, I almost feel like with this energy here, when we're working on ourselves, you know, I feel like being mindful of making sure that we're not comparing our growth to others, because sometimes there's a lot of options right now that I'm noticing of where people are saying like, you know, yeah, if you want to get into this shape, you have to do this, or, you know, if you're going to do this thing, you want to do that, or do this, or do that, or do this, or do that. And it's just like, well, wait a minute. I feel like it's one of those things where we want to be open, I feel like, to options, but don't feel like that there's any one way to do a certain thing, Sagittarius. It's like because sometimes I feel with the Eight of Swords popping up in reverse, I feel like that sometimes with all this change and stuff, we can get a lot of people that may try to kind of capitalize on that. And I don't feel like it's necessarily in a malicious way, but I feel like it's the Eight of Swords is saying that you don't have to do what you do what works for you. You know, you trust your intuition with it being in reverse. And if something doesn't feel right, I remember, like, for example, you've probably seen it too. There's this, and I don't, whatever. But there's this person that's, you know, they'll be talking about, you know, you can eat all this stuff and whatnot and blah, blah, blahs like donuts and things. And it's just like, where that may work for some people, that's not going to work for everybody. But that's a nice thing to sell. You know what I mean? It's just like, you got to pay attention to what works for you. And there's going to be, I feel like there's just going to be a lot of energies that are saying that they have the right answers. And I'm even talking for like myself, you know, just like with anyone. It's just like, it's paying attention to how this growth affects you. You know what I mean? Because you came here in a strong way, because I don't know why that took so long to dawn on me. The fact that you're ruler and you are up here upright, this is all about you, and it's all about your growth. And you have to, it's like I tell you at the beginning, it's just like this energy of take what resonates with you and leave the rest with me and with the rest of them. You know what I mean? So I feel like try not to get overwhelmed by the choices or in the ways that we can grow. I say definitely be open-minded. That's what definitely be open-minded to this stuff. But be aware of taking others' words as like a maxim or something along those lines, that they say like this is the only way to go about it, because then that's just like I already kind of starting off kind of weird for me, so just something to be mindful of there, Sagittarius. Any more there? Okay, but I'm with it. And if anything, hopefully you like that there, Sagittarius. And if anything resonates with you, or if you find in the future, or you just like that, give it a thumbs up. And share this, Sagittarius, because this is a dope reading. We got a little bit of love. We may be starting up a project. We're doing some self-care. I feel like you're doing Cancer season very well. So go ahead and help these other people along here. And then subscribe, hit that bell button. You get notified when I release videos each week. And then maybe if you need a little extra tool to help you on your meditation there, I'm on this meditation app, Insight Timer, and I started a group on there called Zodiacs Raising the Vibration. And it's just a group to post like positive affirmations, encouraging messages, things along those lines. And definitely as the group grows, I want to start doing like different meditations, maybe like finding that Zen space with the Temperance card, or go and void a course with the High Priestess, something along those lines. But all that information's in the description box. And then lastly, speaking of the High Priestess, our ruler, got a hot little ticket here to come over to my other channel. Not that you need one, but if you have any Cancer in your placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, come on over to the Sheridan, friends. I do videos Monday through Friday there. We discuss lunar shenanigans, and it's a good old time. And all that housekeeping down in the description box below. But let me get your surprise cards here so I can get you out of here. I like that. So you got the Nine of Cups in reverse here. And while I'm getting your Oracle card, with the Nine of Cups, if we've been feeling that, again, if there are any areas in our lives that we're not feeling happy, if we're not feeling fulfilled, or if we're not, just not feeling abundant, or just find ourselves like stuck in a cycle, it's just like, I feel like it's really doing some more stuff for you, Sagittarius, really pouring into your happiness, making sure that whatever it is that you're doing really, really just fills up all your cups. Absolutely. This, especially if we've just been going through, because this you did kind of range the gamut as far as like what things are going down here. You got the cleanse card upright, and I feel like make sure to cleanse your space, cleanse your energies. Maybe even clean up your physical space. Especially with if life's been getting really busy, maybe we haven't had a chance to tend to things, or maybe just even just like lighting some incense, maybe getting some sage, something along those lines. And even too, even doing like some like emotional cleansing, just allowing yourself to, maybe we've been keeping things bottled up. Maybe, I don't know, maybe put on like a movie that gets you emotional. Maybe have yourself a good cry or something along those lines, Sagittarius. I don't see why not. But I'll tell you what, crying can be cathartic. But I feel like that there's this energy here of almost like a renewal here, Sagittarius, like just kind of like coming in, just a brand new, just feeling fresh, look so fresh, so clean, so fly. So go ahead. I'm with it. So you Sagittarius, all these people and fertilities, flamingos, coin tosses, you stay safe out there. I wouldn't tell you to do anything, but stay safe out there. And raise your vibration through the roof. Raise it to Jupiter. That's because something here is something's cooking up here, Sagittarius. I feel like this is going to be a great Cancer season is about to be lit. I don't know what's going down, but Cancer's bringing it. So I'm excited for everyone really, because it has been very abundant. And I will catch you on the next one. Later.